Hello everyone and welcome back to another NLC interview here at Esports News UK. This time I'm joined by NYYRIKKI's head coach Sotze. I hope I'm saying that right. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's correct.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. And the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is basically how much time you spent at NYYRIKKI. So you've been there for more than a couple of years at this point. The first question I want to know, have you learnt yet how to spell NYYRIKKI in that time?
I think I gotcha, but I'm not completely sure. It should be something similar to NYYRIKKI. Should be something similar to that, like NYYRIKKI. But it's so hard for me.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, obviously I've alluded to it there. So you've been on NYYRIKKI, I think it's since summer 2019, is that right? Or summer 2020?
Yes. Yeah, 20.
Which means it is, well, this is like your fifth split basically. You've been with them more than 2 years.
Actually, there has been like a sixth one. So like I would say like, yeah, 6 splits so far.
Well, even more impressive then. So obviously that's pretty much unprecedented at ERL level, especially considering where you were with NYYRIKKI when you kind of first joined there. Was that always something you'd hoped maybe when you joined, or how has that actually happened that you've ended up spending so long with one team?
It was not completely planned. I guess it came out after the first split. Because the first split, I didn't join as a coach in the start of it. I got subbed in because the old NYYRIKKI head coach got bought up by a Brazilian org, Pain Gaming. And I got called because I was free agent. I was free agent in the moment because I was taking like a couple of splits off since I started like post-degree master on project management, and I started this master, so I was supposed to be busy till at least September of the 2020, but as we all know, 2020 didn't go as planned for everyone. So I got basically in a position where I freed myself, like I was not in any team, but during like the start of the split, like COVID came and my graduate degree got suspended. I went in hiatus for a few months and I didn't know what to do. Like I was jobless and without like any time that was reserved to study. So I got in NYYRIKKI and I did this first split. I didn't mind like filling my time with a second division org, even though like that was not like my goal in that moment. But it was enjoyable. And I came from a couple of very bad situation in Italy, whereas like similar to what happened multiple times in Esports, I didn't get paid what I was supposed to. A couple of split in a row, and I found myself enjoying the time in NYYRIKKI, even though the level was lower than what I was used to. Like payment were on time, like. Or at least there was distrust between like me and the org. Like there was like no issues in like the payments. Like if they were late, they were supposed to be late. If they were on time, they were on time. Like if they were late, like I was being given like reasoning why it was late. And when like that things was over, like I will get my money. Meanwhile, in other orgs, multiple times, especially like a couple of years ago, was a tragedy. Like let's be honest, like it happens so often that you get scammed with contracts and so on, but obviously like over a couple of thousands, like what do you do? Like especially like with Italian laws, international laws, it's just like a mess, and you will never see that money basically. Especially if the org is gonna leave the scene after. And I found myself like an enjoyable time. So when it came like to the fall period, like we went into a talk, like we tried to qualify for what was like the fall open back in the days. We didn't qualify, but basically like my time was over. Like I couldn't get in any other team at that point, and I started talking with them like about the future, and came up like this idea about promoting. I was pretty comfortable that even if we had probably the lowest budget over all the teams that were trying to qualify, I would have done it. Like I took the job as a part-time. Like I started another like degree, which I finished a couple of months ago. And basically, I said to them, like, if you are fine with me being a part-time into the team in the next year, and actually year and a half, because I knew that I could finish this earlier than I was supposed to, like doing 3 years in 1.5, it was fine for me. So I told them just, if you are fine with me being a part-time, I'm all in. And we basically managed to get like a contract done for like 2 years. It was a contract with like close on like restructuring the contract over like the first year, but that was the project, and I got a team. Was not completely happy with what ended up being spring, but it was a plan. Like we started planning for the entire year. Like I got a couple of players that I was interested in and I will develop, and I got some veteran kind of player that would help me like solidify the team through the period. So the spring we were not supposed to qualify. Like we knew that our team was too flawed to be qualified, but we knew that if we kept working on the core, that we would solidify into the spring. In the summer it was free. And yeah, I mean that's exactly what happened. Like we went into spring. Yeah, we went like lossless for I think it was 25 games in a row, something like that. Like we haven't lost a single game, but we knew that our team structure was too flawed. Like we knew that as soon as there was one competent coach, we would have lost. And we got just the one competent coach. Like we knew that everyone else was too bad level, and they could not expose our weakness. So we just went away with a murder, but then in the end, like we got cut off, and yeah, we lost the semifinal. But the year after, we restructured like the couple of roles that were there like as a bridge, and we were pretty happy with how our end ended up being.
Yeah. One thing I want to kind of go back to there then, that you said about, obviously you've got this, well, you had this 2-year contract, which obviously would be great. I imagine you know that you're going to be there for a long time, and you then got, I guess, got the freedom to pick players that you don't think maybe are ready right now, but then in a split's time, in a year's time, they're going to be ready. And I guess that paid off, right? Because even once you did eventually get in the NLC, basically half of that team is the one that you had the whole time, more or less, anyway. So.
Yeah, we locked 3/5 of the roster from summer, and it was actually the 3/5 players that started with us in spring, and we kept them from spring split, and then like we changed one of those players into the summer split. But funny enough, like the one player that was not with us in summer, but it was with us in spring, it was the same player that we picked up after in spring in NLC. Like, so if you think about that, like our spring roster, we kept 4/5 of those players from Div 2 to Div 1. And I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that first split, you came 8th, which I think was pretty respectable. I think most people had you probably even below that, to be fair.
I do think like we would have done way better, but we haven't done a good job altogether, myself included. Like I underestimated a bit like the workload that will take for Division 1 compared to Division 2. And as I said, like I was finishing my university degree, so like I was still part-time, and especially it was like my last few exams, which kind of overwhelmed me a bit. And I take full blame of the result of the first split. Like I do think we could have done way better if I was better coach, or at least like if I could be focused as I was this split.
So then how would you rate this split then? So you've ended up 7th, literally 1 place off playoffs, only 2 wins behind. Is that a success for you then?
Not a success in terms of result. I think it was actually bad. I do think we could have done way better, but it was a success in terms of development. We had some issues, and we ended up changing our jungler in the week, what was week 6, I think. But I do think the team was developed. Like if you compare spring to summer, in spring we simply didn't have like a lead, we didn't have a gameplay, we didn't have like an identity. Meanwhile in summer we were losing games, yes, but we were playing them extremely good. Like we were ahead and we were winning most of them actually. And some issues came in, and we have lost them. But the development of the team environment, I think it was pretty good. Like, I'm quite happy with that.
Is that something that was kind of like a part of your plan then with that 2 years? Because I guess if you're going to have players that are going to be together for that long and develop, it probably helps that they actually like each other and get along, right? Otherwise, surely that's just going to
absolutely. I mean, the environment in NYYRIKKI has always been like pretty chill. Like we didn't have like many personal issues. We had like gameplay issues most of the time, but people in the team environment like always like each other and like to work with each other, and that's something that I'm very proud of, and something that I especially looked forward. Like it was something that I was trying to build, because obviously, like, as you can imagine, like yes, I was the coach of NYYRIKKI, but you should probably like consider myself as the whole esport director of the team. I mean, I was, because like I the whole plan, starting like from 2 years behind, it was around building a structure for the org. I managed like an academies, the development of the talent that you can actually see in these last few games where we played with subs. Like one of those players is a player that actually joined NYYRIKKI back then in January 2021, and has been like developed by our environment. And I guess the result shows. Like he never played any game of competitive, but did a pretty insane performance both of the games.
Fair enough. And then with this split as well, so you even just kind of going to this week that's just finished, literally as we're recording this, I think there's a game still going even.
Probably.
Yeah, so you guys had, ended off on a high note as well, 2-0 week, and then obviously that final win against Riddle to literally give XL the EU Masters spot and basically make Riddle have to scrap it out a bit longer. What was the what were the actions like with that? What was the team environment like when that was happening?
I mean, let's be honest. Like, we haven't even ever screamed together. Like, we put down the two subs when like we were locked out of relegation, mostly because of some rules between like the current ERL environment. Whereas like some of our players wanted to play like an off-season tournament that is being held in Norway, but they couldn't if we didn't release them, and we would not gain anything. Like, ended up 7th or 8th. Same thing. Like there is not even prize pool, so we just released them and took two subs in and let them like happily go into these off-season tournaments. But obviously, like as I said, one of the two subs, it was like a player that has been with us for a long time. It was not officially released or officially announced in any shape or form, but he has been with NYYRIKKI since I think I said January 2021, but that was wrong. It was like around December 2021. Like, it was like a 7-8 month long with us. He started as a sub for our academy, and then like I started like taking him myself, like with solo coaching, and he was like present in all the meetings, most of the streams. He watched like all our games. So when we put him in, we were confident that I was confident that he would put an L out of performance. But obviously he never played any competitive game, but he showed up like quite a kill in his first game, so that was good, I guess.
Yeah, really good. Just one thing I mentioned there about as well, then kind of going away from NYYRIKKI a little bit, but just about EU Masters. Obviously, it's something that's really topical right now. Just literally yesterday, it was announced that NLC have got a third spot finally, which I honestly thought it was never going to happen. But just just maybe for the future, if you're going to be sticking around with NYYRIKKI or at least sticking around in the NLC, was that something you were happy to see?
I mean, it was something that was necessary more than me being happy to. I don't think it was any close to be to have like a competitive integrity at this point, because Ultraliga has been a one team region. Like Ultraliga since the merge, but I mean for a long time it's not a region. Like it's, or at least like it's not a major region. Like. It's probably weaker on average than like PG National or other minor league like ABL, for example. Like I do think like PG Nation and ABL teams are on average better than Ultraligas. But obviously like Agorog is an exception to that. Like Agorog is extremely good, but all the rest of the teams are underwhelming, and it was actually bad for the competitive integrity of the U Master having those three teams that were basically going in clueless about how the game was supposed to be played. And yeah, I mean, NLC had to have like more slot in it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you see at least at this one the NLC doing really? So we know that XL and Dusty are qualified for sure, and then that leaves either
X7,
X7, Riddle.
I mean, everyone actually, like, could be like everyone. It is X7, Bifrost, Astralis, and Riddle, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I do think like X7 is gonna be like the winner if they understood how to play against the other teams, because I think we showed today pretty clearly Riddle has flaws in their playstyle, has clear flaws, and I mean, they should understand themselves and like change their draft pattern based on the flaws to don't put themselves in the situation they were today, because I do think the game was basically over since draft, not because of like a clear on the paper draft difference, because I do think like probably they had a better draft overall, but it was a draft that would nullify all their strength, and we drafted in a way actually, I didn't think I could get away with that kind of draft, but I did. Like they literally drafted champion that they are not able to perform. Riddle is a team that throughout the whole split has shown the like clear flaws in the way that they play, and really good strength. Like I think the biggest strength that Riddle has as a team is the split pushing of Jepson and the team fight read over like neutrals of Nash, which I mean I don't know if it is Nash calls or it is like Stefan calls, I don't know, could be like anyone, but the way that Nash set up flanks and the way that Jepson split push, that's what made them win in game. And they picked two champions that completely goes against this law. Like with Brom, you can plank or make this big like team fight play where you can get over the whole game. And with Nar, they could not execute like this split push oriented things unless like they played very heavily towards the top lane. But then they blinded Salas, and that makes impossible, because if we just get prio into Salas, they could never like go over like punishing the Fiora with the Nar pressure, and this shows like a clear lack of understanding on how your team wins. And if other teams will hear this interview and apply the same strats, like I think it's pretty easy to beat them.
Let's see then. Just maybe to start wrapping things up then, what are your plans for next year? Is there an extra year on for NYYRIKKI, or you know what you think?
I mean, this is kind of exclusive spoiler, but I've asked and I mutually agreed with NYYRIKKI to terminate my contract at immediate effect. Like I'm out of the contract in 1 hour, something like that. It means that I will probably going looking for a team, but I'm not too sold into like getting into a team if that's not like a good offer, or at least like a start of an offer, because like I don't care about doing any tournament like in like what's like the next like 4 months of the year. I don't care like getting in a team to make a good result in tournaments. What I care it is like starting up a path where like I can work with them for the next year, because as I said multiple times, I'm someone that really strives to develop teams and to make sure that teams can get to a point where like they are very consistent. Like I will never accept any offer that just give me like 5 players that I don't know, like that I don't know the potential or whatever it is. Like 5 good players might be good for others' environment, but they are not for me. Like I don't care about winning. I care about making a team a good team, and that's what I think like any coach in ERL should look forward to. Yes, it is a more tricky path towards like the success, because obviously like as a coach there is a few tools where you can be defined a good coach. and one of those, I mean, the most used one, the most used, it is like the success rate. Like if you win, you are a good one. But for me, being in ERL, it means developing. Being in ERL league, like in a regional league, like it means taking up the talent from that region and making them shine. And that's what I've always tried to. And I kind of succeeded in doing it, we'll say. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's up to, and I think that's the way that I would approach it. Like I want someone that allows me to do my job and support me in doing my job. And right now, NYYRIKKI was not anymore the place, so like I just choose to seek out for other options.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much a good place to wrap up then. Is there any final words, any final comments you wanted to add?
I mean, I'm looking forward to the NLC playoff. I think they are going to be incredibly fun. And you master, I really think a lot of our teams are at a very good level, so they can make good damage to like European level. So like can make this region shine because we've had some struggle in the last few years, whereas like we have been considered like the worst of the major region. I mean, outside of Ultraliga, and I don't think that was the case. I think like we showed in the last few master, and we showed the one before even. It is an incredibly competitive region, and I really hope like people will notice that, and the result will come.
Yeah, it's yeah, optimistic on the NLC right now. That's good. Well, yeah, that'll do for today then. So thanks for joining me, Sotze. Really nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck next year, wherever you do end up. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.